First contact. The discovery happened on a quiet Tuesday morning. Lieutenant Olivia Grant sat at her console aboard the exploration vessel Horizon, sipping her third cup of coffee. The long-range sensors had been picking up strange readings for days, but this was different. This was a pattern. "Captain Martinez, I'm getting something unusual here," she called out, eyes fixed on her screen. Captain Frank Martinez looked up from his reports. He was a practical man with 20 years of space experience etched into the lines of his face. "What kind of unusual, Lieutenant?" "Signal patterns, sir. Definitely artificial. Coming from just beyond Neptune's orbit." Martinez walked over to Grant's station, watching as she isolated the frequency. "It's repeating in cycles," Grant explained. "Definitely not random. And it doesn't match any known Earth transmissions." Martinez's expression remained neutral, but his pulse quickened. First contact protocols had existed for decades, but no one ever truly expected to use them. "Alert Science Officer Jackson. I want analysis yesterday." Within the hour, the Horizon's command center was buzzing with controlled excitement. Science Officer Neil Jackson had confirmed what many suspected but few dared say aloud. The signals were not of human origin. "The pattern contains mathematical sequences that appear to be universal," Jackson explained, pushing his glasses up his nose. "Prime numbers, the value of pi, basic atomic structures. Classic hello signals." "Are they moving?" Martins asked. "No, sir. That's the concerning part. The fleet, and it is a fleet, based on our scans, is completely stationary." Martins made his decision. "Helm, set course to intercept. Yellow alert. And someone wake up Dr. Murphy." Grace Murphy was the Horizon's xenolinguistics specialist and diplomatic officer. Most missions, her expertise went unused. Not today. "You're telling me I might actually earn my paycheck," she joked when briefed, though her hands trembled slightly as she gathered her equipment. The Horizon approached cautiously. As they drew closer, the ships became visible even without enhancement. Massive vessels unlike anything humans had built, elegant with curved lines and strange protrusions. "My God," whispered Jackson as the images clarified. "There must be dozens of them." "And they're dark," noted Martinez. "Minimal power signatures. Either they're being incredibly stealthy, or they're in trouble," finished Grant. Murphy had been working frantically to decode more of the signals. "Captain, I believe this is a distress call. The mathematical patterns have shifted to show degradation, system failures." Martinez nodded. "Jackson, any signs of weapons powering up or targeting systems?" "Nothing, sir. Most of their systems appear offline. I'm detecting life signs, but their power cores are almost depleted." The decision weighed heavily on Martinez. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries, but first contact with a potentially dying alien fleet wasn't how anyone had imagined it. "Open a channel," he ordered finally. "Dr. Murphy, send our first contact package." The carefully crafted message, containing basic mathematical principles, chemical formulas, and simplified images of humans, transmitted toward the alien fleet. The response came faster than anyone expected. Screens throughout the bridge filled with strange symbols, flowing and changing. "They're responding with their own language," Murphy said excitedly, "but also attempting to adapt to our format. They're intelligent, very intelligent." Gradually, a coherent message formed on Murphy's screen. "We are Vexeri," Murphy translated slowly. "Ship's damage. Power failing. Many cycles adrift. Help requested." The bridge fell silent. "They're asking for our help," Martins said finally. "Humanity's first alien encounter. And they need us to save them." He stood, straightening his uniform in what would later be recognized as a historically significant moment. "Lieutenant Grant, inform Earth Command we've made contact. Dr. Murphy, tell the Vexeri help is coming. Let's bring the Horizon alongside their command vessel." As the human ship approached the massive alien flagship, the crew could see the damage more clearly. Scorch marks along its hull, debris floating nearby, emergency lights flickering weakly. Humanity's first steps into a larger universe would be as rescuers, not conquerors or the rescued. No one aboard the Horizon that day could predict how this moment would transform their species and their place in the cosmos. The translation systems hummed constantly as humans and Vexari worked to understand each other. 3 days had passed since the Horizon first approached the alien fleet. Earth governments had sent additional ships to help, but tension remained thick in the recycled air. Allison Reed, the Horizon's chief engineer, studied the damaged power core of the Vexari flagship. The technology was unlike anything she had seen before. Crystalline structures intertwined with what appeared to be living tissue. "Amazing," she muttered, scanning another section. "Their entire power system is semi-organic." Her Vexari counterpart, a tall being with iridescent scales and 4 arms, made a series of clicking sounds that the translator converted to English. "The cores are dying. Without proper nutrients, they cannot regenerate." Reed nodded, making notes. Earth ships had brought supplies, but finding compatible materials to repair alien technology was proving difficult. Aboard the Horizon, Captain Martinez met with the Vexari commander in what had become their daily briefing. Commander Skthal sat uncomfortably in the human-designed chair, his elongated body barely fitting the furniture. "My people appreciate your assistance," Skull said through the translator, "but we must know your intentions." Martinez recognized the suspicion in the alien's posture. "Our intentions are to help you repair your ships and ensure the safety of your people." "No species helps another without seeking advantage," Skull replied. "What do humans want in return?" Before Martinez could answer, Security Officer Kevin Phillips entered the room, his expression serious. "Captain, I need to speak with you privately." Martinez excused himself. In the corridor, Phillips showed him images captured during the damage assessment. "These aren't engine failures," Phillips said quietly. "These are weapons impacts. High-energy weapons, nothing like we've seen before." Martinez frowned. "They told us it was a catastrophic drive failure." "They lied. They were in a battle, sir. A big one." When Martinez returned to the meeting room, his approach had changed. "Commander Skthal, we've analyzed your ship damage. Those aren't engine failures. Someone attacked you." The alien's skin darkened, a sign Martinez had learned indicated stress or anger. "You would not have helped if you knew the truth," Skthal finally said. "We are refugees, fleeing the Drakmor Empire." "The Drakmor. Conquerors. They seek our world's resources, our technology." Skithal's translator crackled with emotion. "We refused to surrender. They destroyed our home." Grace Murphy had been studying Vexari cultural signals and recognized the grief in the commander's posture. "Your entire civilization?" she asked gently. "What remains of it is in these ships," Skull confirmed. 40,000 survivors from a population of billions. The room fell silent as the humans absorbed this information. "If the Drakmor follow you here," Martinez began. "They will come," Skull said simply. "They always do." Martinez called an emergency meeting of the Horizon senior staff. The revelation changed everything. Helping stranded travelers was one thing. Harboring refugees from an apparently powerful enemy was another. "We should inform Earth immediately," Phillips argued. "This could bring war to our doorstep." "These people have lost everything," Murphy countered. "We can't abandon them." Martinez listened to the debate among his crew. The decision would affect not just the Horizon, but potentially all of humanity. "We put it to a vote," he finally said. "This isn't just my choice to make." One by one, the crew members cast their votes. Despite the risks, compassion won the day. Earth might face danger, but they would not turn away those in need. When Martinez informed Skthal of their decision, the alien commander's skin shifted to a deep blue. "I do not understand your species," the translator conveyed, "but I am grateful." As night cycle began aboard the Horizon, Engineer Reed worked alongside her Vexari counterparts with renewed purpose. They weren't just fixing ships anymore. They were protecting refugees and possibly preparing for war. The repair effort grew larger each day. Earth ships arrived with supplies, and temporary space stations were built around the largest Vexari vessels. Engineer Sam Collins stood in what the humans had nicknamed Central Control, overseeing the massive operation. "We need more conversion units for the third sector," he told his assistant, wiping sweat from his forehead. "The organic components in their systems keep rejecting our power sources." The challenge seemed impossible at times. Human technology was advanced, but the semi-organic Vexari systems operated on principles that defied Earth science. Collins had been working 18-hour days trying to find solutions. "What if we're thinking about this all wrong?" he said suddenly, staring at the diagrams. "We've been trying to make our technology compatible with theirs. What if we create something new instead?" Collins sketched rapidly on his tablet, combining elements of both technologies. His idea was radical: a hybrid system that would use Earth's fusion generators to create the specific energy pattern the Vexari ships needed. When he presented the concept to Allison Reed and the Vexari engineers, there was immediate interest. "It could work," Reed said, studying the designs. "We'd need to build the converters from scratch, but the principles are sound." The Vexari engineers clicked and hummed among themselves before their lead scientist responded through the translator. "This approach is unexpected, but the humans' idea has merit." Earth's factories began producing the specialized equipment. Transport ships made constant runs between Earth and the repair zone, bringing materials and taking back wounded or sick Vexari who needed specialized care. Laura Wilson, a scientist from Earth's Advanced Physics Institute, joined the team after studying Vexari power technology. She spent days locked in a makeshift lab, emerging with bloodshot eyes and a breakthrough. "The crystalline matrix isn't just a conductor," she explained to Collins and Reed. "It's like a living battery. It needs to be fed, for lack of a better word." Her discovery accelerated the repair process. With the right energy signature, the Vexari systems began to heal themselves, drawing power from the human converters to regenerate their damaged components. Captain Martinez received regular updates as repair teams made progress across the fleet. 23 of the 64 Vexari ships were now at least partially operational, but time was growing short. "Sir," Lieutenant Grant called from her station one evening. "Long-range sensors are picking up something at the edge of the system." Martinez moved to her console, studying the readings. "Is it them?" he asked quietly. "Profile matches what the Vexari described as a Drakmor scout ship," Grant confirmed. "It's just observing for now, staying at extreme range." Martinez ordered the information relayed to Earth Command and to Scathal. The Drakmor hadn't engaged yet, but their presence confirmed the Vexari's warning. They had followed the refugees to Earth. The news spread through the repair teams, adding urgency to their already frantic pace. Collins barely slept, moving from ship to oversee the installation of his conversion systems. "We need these vessels operational," he told his teams. "All of them, not just for the Vexari's sake anymore." Earth's military prepared as best they could, though everyone knew human weapons would likely be ineffective against an enemy that had destroyed an advanced civilization like the Vexari. In a private moment between shifts, Collins and Wilson sat in the observation lounge, looking out at the massive alien fleet. "Do you think we can get them all working in time?" Wilson asked. Collins stared at the distant stars where the Drakmor scout lurked beyond sight. "We have to," he said simply. "Because if the Drakmor come in force before we're ready." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. The repair teams resumed work with renewed determination, human ingenuity combined with Vexari technology, as the clock ticked down. With each passing hour, more ships came online, systems humming back to life after months of darkness. But the question remained, would it be enough when the Drakmor arrived? As repairs continued, humans and Vexari began to learn more about each other. What had started as an emergency rescue operation was becoming something deeper, a cultural exchange between two very different species. Medical Officer Diane Foster had converted part of the Horizon's medical bay into a treatment center for Vexari with minor injuries. At first, she had been terrified of making mistakes with their alien biology, but necessity had made her adapt quickly. "Your epidermis regenerates remarkably fast," she noted, treating a burn on a young Vexari's arm. Their skin had a pearlescent quality that seemed to shift colors with their moods. The translator conveyed the Vexari's response. "Your people's healing methods are primitive but effective. We appreciate your care." Foster had learned this wasn't rudeness, but simply Vexari directness. They stated facts without emotional cushioning. She'd grown to appreciate their honesty. In another section of the ship, Chef Ryan Morris had taken on an unexpected challenge: feeding the Vexari visitors. After determining which Earth foods were safe for their digestive systems, he'd begun experimenting with dishes that appealed to their very different taste preferences. "They love spicy food," Morris told Captain Martins during an inspection. "The hotter the better. Something about their sensory organs responds positively to capsaicin." Martins watched as a group of Vexari enthusiastically consumed what appeared to be extremely spicy curry. "At least they're eating well while they're here," he remarked. The Vexari, in turn, shared aspects of their culture with the humans. They created visual displays of their homeworld, now lost, showing cities built in harmony with natural formations, technology that seemed to grow rather than being constructed. "Our philosophy centered on balance," explained a Vexari elder to a group of fascinated humans. "Technology and nature, not in opposition, but as extensions of each other." Some of the greatest progress came from unexpected quarters. Eric Chen, a young communications specialist, had been assigned to monitor Vexari transmissions. Instead, he found himself forming a friendship with a Vexari of similar age and position. The two spent hours comparing their experiences, finding common ground despite their differences. Chen taught the Vexari Earth games like chess, while learning alien mathematics that made his head spin. "They don't think in linear terms like we do," Chen explained to Dr. Murphy. "Their language reflects a different perception of time and causality. It's fascinating." As a gesture of goodwill, Commander Scathal authorized sharing certain technological knowledge with the humans. Nothing that could be weaponized, but advancements in medicine, energy efficiency, and material science that would help Earth for generations to come. "Your people have earned this," Scathal told Martinez. "Few species would help strangers at such risk to themselves." On Earth, governments debated the situation in emergency sessions. The United Nations Security Council met continuously, evaluating the threat posed by the approaching Drakmor and considering humanity's options. "If we cannot repair all their vessels in time," said the Secretary General, "we must offer sanctuary to the Vexari here on Earth." The vote was not unanimous, but compassion prevailed. Earth would not abandon those they had promised to help, even if it meant facing an enemy they couldn't hope to defeat. When Captain Martins relayed this decision to Commander Scathal, the alien leader's skin rippled with an emotion the translator couldn't properly convey. "In our long journey," Scathal said finally, "we encountered many worlds. None opened their doors as yours has. If survival is possible, perhaps it will be because our peoples found each other." That evening, humans and Vexari gathered in the Horizon's mess hall for a shared meal. Chef Morris had outdone himself, creating dishes that satisfied both species. Music played, human melodies mixed with recorded Vexari harmonics. For a few hours, they forgot about the Drakmor scout at the edge of the solar system. They forgot about the desperate race to repair the fleet. They simply existed together, two species finding connection across the vast differences that separated them. Neither knew what tomorrow would bring, but tonight, at least, there was friendship. The alarm sounded at 300 hours, jolting Captain Martinez from his brief rest. He rushed to the bridge, still pulling on his uniform jacket. "Report," he demanded, taking in the tense faces of his crew. Lieutenant Grant's fingers flew across her console. "Multiple objects just entered the system, sir. Massive energy signatures. definitely not natural. The main screen showed the approaching vessels, sleek, predatory shapes moving with deliberate purpose toward Earth. The Drakmor battle fleet, Martine said quietly. How many? 27 capital ships, sir, plus support vessels. Grant looked up. They're not trying to hide. Commander Skthal arrived moments later, skin pulsing with dark patterns that translated even without technology as deep fear. They have found us, the Vexeri commander stated. Earth's combined fleet moved to defensive positions, but everyone knew the truth. Even with recently repaired Vexeri vessels, they were outmatched. The Drakmor had destroyed an entire civilization more advanced than Earth's. As military leaders coordinated their response, Skthal requested a private meeting with Martinez and Earth's Security Council. There is something you must know, the alien commander said once they had gathered. The Drakmor do not merely seek conquest. They hunt us specifically for technology we possess. Martinez leaned forward. What technology? Our world developed biological computation beyond anything in known space. Our ship's cores are not simply power sources. They contain data networks that can process information in ways other species cannot replicate. The revelation stunned the human representatives. You're saying they destroyed your civilization for your computers? Asked the American general. For the advantage it would give them over all other species, Skull confirmed. With our technology, their empire would be unstoppable. The Drakmor fleet continued its approach, ignoring communication attempts. They sent a single message to Earth: surrender the Vexeri refugees or face elimination. While leaders debated, Lieutenant Patricia Hernandez made a discovery that changed everything. Working with Vexeri scientists to analyze data from previous encounters, she identified a potential weakness. Their shield systems operate on predictable frequency patterns, she explained in the emergency briefing. If we could disrupt those specific frequencies, we might penetrate their defenses. It was a slim chance, but the only one they had. Martines proposed a bold strategy combining Earth's nuclear arsenal with Vexeri shielding technology, creating weapons that might actually damage the Drakmor ships. As engineers rushed to implement the modifications, Earth's leadership faced their darkest hour. Some advocated surrendering the Vexeri to save humanity. We cannot sacrifice billions of our own people for 40,000 refugees, argued one official. However tragic, the math is clear. The debate raged for hours as the Drakmor came closer. Finally, a vote was called. Before the results could be announced, Martinez requested to address the council. I understand the logic of abandonment, he said, but consider this. If we betray the Vexeri now, we tell the universe that humans cannot be trusted, that we help others only when it's easy. He paused, looking at each face. More importantly, we tell ourselves what kind of species we truly are, one that saves itself at any moral cost, or one that stands by its principles even in the face of destruction. The room fell silent. The Horizon crew has already voted, Martinez continued. We will not abandon those we promised to protect. If Earth chooses differently, we will take as many Vexeri as we can and face the Drakmor alone. The Council's decision came down to a single vote. Earth would stand with the Vexeri. As the Drakmor fleet entered Earth's orbital space, human and Vexeri ships moved into formation. Engineers worked frantically to complete the shield modifications while tactical officers finalized battle plans. Captain Martinez looked at his view screen, where Commander Skithal's ship now flew alongside the Horizon. Are you ready? Martinez asked over the secure channel. The Vexeri commander's reply was simple. Together. The combined fleet accelerated toward the invaders, humanity's first interstellar war beginning not with conquest, but with a stand for principle. The battle began with a flash of weapons fire that lit up Earth's orbit like a new constellation. The Drakmor ships moved with practiced precision, their formations speaking of centuries of military experience. They clearly expected a quick victory. What they didn't expect was humanity's unpredictability. Tactical Officer Doug Russell coordinated the Earth Vexeri fleet from the command center on the horizon. His voice remained steady despite the chaos unfolding on his screens. Groups 3 and 4, execute pattern echo now. Vexeri cruisers, maintain shield coverage for our smaller vessels. Earth's smaller ships darted between the massive Drakmor vessels, too quick to target effectively. This was Russell's strategy. What humans lacked in firepower, they made up for in agility and surprise. They're expecting conventional approaches, Russell had explained during planning. So we won't give them any. The first Drakmor ship fell 30 minutes into the battle. An Earth destroyer sacrificed itself, driving directly into the enemy vessel's path after its shields had been weakened by coordinated fire. Both ships erupted in silent flame. Harris and his crew, Martins said quietly, noting the destroyer's ID. The names of the fallen were already growing too numerous to recite. Aboard the Vexeri command ship, Scathal directed their more powerful vessels to absorb damage meant for Earth's fleet. The Vexeri had better shields but less maneuverability. Together, the two species compensated for each other's weaknesses. On a research vessel safely behind the main battle line, Engineer Sam Collins and his Vexeri counterpart worked frantically. Their project, adapting Earth's nuclear weapons with Vexeri technology, represented their best hope. The frequency modulation is still unstable, Collins said, fingers flying over his console. If we get this wrong, the weapons will detonate before reaching their targets. The Vexeri scientist adjusted crystalline components that pulsed with bioluminescent light. The shield frequencies change in predictable patterns. Lieutenant Hernandez's calculations are correct. More ships were lost on both sides. The space around Earth became a graveyard of broken vessels and bodies. Communications channels filled with damage reports and distress calls. Collins finally looked up from his work. It's ready. The modified warheads were loaded onto the remaining missiles. Earth had committed almost its entire nuclear arsenal to this desperate gambit. All ships fall back to secondary positions, Martins ordered. Prepare for Operation Breakthrough. The human Vexeri fleet executed a coordinated retreat, appearing to break formation. The Drakmor pressed their advantage, pursuing what they believed to be a routing enemy. They're taking the bait, Russell confirmed. Launch window in 30 seconds. Martinez exchanged a final look with Scathal on the video link. No words were needed. Launch, Martinez commanded. The missiles accelerated toward the Drakmor fleet, looking just like the conventional weapons that had proven ineffective until now. The enemy didn't bother to evade. The first detonation was barely visible, until the Drakmor flagship's shields flickered and failed. The modified nuclear weapon had synchronized with the shield frequency, passing through it before detonation. It worked, someone shouted on the bridge. More missiles followed, each targeting a different capital ship. 5 Drakmor vessels were crippled in the first wave. Their formation broke as commanders realized their shields were no longer protecting them. The human Vexeri fleet seized the moment, concentrating fire on the damaged ships. For the first time, the Drakmor began to retreat. They're falling back, Russell reported, disbelief clear in his voice. All across the line. The remaining Drakmor ships regrouped, abandoning their damaged vessels. Their retreat was orderly but unmistakable. As the enemy fleet accelerated away from Earth, the combined fleet held position, too damaged to pursue but unwilling to show weakness. Martinez slumped in his chair as the adrenaline drained from his system. Around him, his crew alternated between cheers and silent grief for those lost. "Captain," Grant called from her station. "Commander Scathal is hailing us." The Vexeri commander appeared on screen, his normally iridescent scales dulled with exhaustion. "Your people fought with courage I have rarely witnessed," the translator conveyed. "Together, we have achieved what neither could alone." Martinez nodded, too tired for eloquence. "Together," he agreed simply. Beyond the viewports, Earth continued its peaceful rotation. Still blue, still home, still free. The memorial service took place 1 month after the battle. A space station had been converted into a vast chamber where humans and Vexeri gathered to honor their dead. The walls displayed names, hundreds from Earth, thousands from the Vexeri fleet, each representing a life sacrificed in the defense of both species. Captain Martinez stood before the assembled crowd, his dress uniform bearing new medals that felt too heavy on his chest. We gather today not as separate peoples, but as survivors who owe our lives to each other, he began. The cost was tremendous, the victory uncertain. But what cannot be questioned is the bond forged between our species. Commander Scathul joined him at the podium, the translator conveying the Vexeri leader's words to all present. In our darkest hour, when our civilization faced extinction, humanity extended its hand. You had no obligation to help us. No treaty bound you, yet you chose to stand with strangers, risking everything. The ceremony continued with traditions from both cultures. Earth music played alongside Vexari harmonic vibrations that could be felt more than heard. Names were read, stories shared, sacrifices acknowledged. Beyond the memorial, a new reality was taking shape. The remaining Vexeri ships were now fully operational. Earth's governments had established diplomatic relations with the refugees, offering permanent homes to those who wished to stay. Many chose to remain, seeing Earth as their second chance. In orbit, construction had begun on hybrid vessels, ships that combined human innovation with Vexeri technology. The first, named Unity, would soon be ready for its maiden voyage. News of Earth's victory had spread beyond the solar system. 3 different alien species had sent tentative communications, surprised to discover both humans and Vexari, where they had expected to find only Drakmor expansion. The galactic community is taking notice, Dr. Grace Murphy explained during a briefing. Our joint stand against the Drakmor has changed perceptions. Earth is now recognized as a significant power. The United Nations had created a new agency dedicated to extraterrestrial relations. Scientists from both species collaborated on technological exchanges that promised to transform human society. Medical advances, energy solutions, faster-than-light communications. In a quiet moment between meetings, Martinez found Scathul observing Earth from a viewport on the space station. It resembles our homeworld in some ways, the Vexeri commander said without turning. The oceans especially. Martinez joined him at the window. Will your people try to find another planet like your original home? Some will. Others have found a new home here. Scathul's scales shifted to a thoughtful blue hue. Our civilizations complement each other in unexpected ways. The Drakmor will return eventually, Martinez said, voicing the concern that haunted both leaders. Yes, but they will not find the same easy targets. Scathul turned from the viewport. The alliance documents are ready for signing. The ceremony that afternoon was broadcast to Earth and to all Vexeri vessels. Martinez and Scathul signed the formal treaty establishing the Human Vexeri Alliance, the first interspecies diplomatic agreement in Earth's history. As applause filled the chamber, plans were already being finalized for the next phase. A joint fleet would venture beyond the solar system, establishing a permanent presence in nearby star systems. The Unity would lead, with Martinez as its captain and a crew equally divided between humans and Vexeri. We go not as conquerors, but as explorers and defenders, Martinez told the assembled dignitaries. What began as a rescue has become humanity's first step into a larger community. 3 days later, the Unity detached from its construction dock. The sleek vessel represented the best of both worlds, human adaptability with Vexeri organic technology. On the bridge, Captain Martinez settled into the command chair, Commander Scathul at his side as joint mission leader. Course laid in, Captain, reported Lieutenant Grant from her new position as Unity's first officer. Martinez looked at the view screen, where stars beckoned beyond the solar system. Take us out, Lieutenant. Steady as she goes. As the Unity accelerated toward distant stars, Earth continued its rotation below, forever changed by the day, Humans had chosen compassion over fear, alliance over isolation, and in doing so, found their place in the universe.